With less than a week to go till Outriders releases, let's talk about a few things you might need to know. Let's get into it.
We awoke from one nightmare into another. Not on our dying Earth, but somewhere much worse.
Now, when Outriders was announced at E3 2019, the results were kind of mixed. Some people liked it, some people hated it. But things have kind of turned around for Square Enix, and people may fly. Now Outriders seems to be the go-to game that launches next week, April 1st. But before we dive in, don't forget to give me the finger, or the like button, and subscribe for future Axial GT content. I do a mix of hardware and game news and reviews, with a little commentary thrown in. And I love making YouTube videos. It's the only job I know that you don't have to wear pants. Or do you? Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so Outriders is an upcoming co-op looter shooter, with a few RPG elements thrown in. And it's being published by Square Enix, and developed by People Can Fly. And People Can Fly do have a few games under their belt that I actually really loved. Bulletstorm, and this game here, Painkiller. I spent many hours playing this game. It had an awesome soundtrack. Now Outriders is set to launch on April 1st for the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Windows, and the 3 or 4 people who still play on Stadia. And also, Outriders does have a demo, so you can play it right now, and play it indefinitely. Outriders is also story-driven, so even in the demo, you'll be able to play the game for a full chapter, while also teaching you some of the mechanics of the game. The demo includes the prologue, a few of the main story missions, and a handful of side quests and a boss encounter, and should take about 3 hours to complete, and that's per class, and there's 4 classes in the game, and they are the Techromancer, the Pyromancer, the Trickster, and the Devastator. And even though it's a co-op game, if you want to play single player, you can do that too. And if you should happen to play the demo and wind up buying the game, all your progress will transfer over to your purchased copy once it releases. Now when it comes to the story, Earth has been lost, so humans set out to colonize an alien planet, and they find one and call it Enoch. But not all is what it seems. When humans first land, it looks like a beautiful paradise. Then the expedition team comes into a massive energy storm, also known as anomalies. And these anomalies grant Enoch's inhabitants and colonists superpowers. Now when it comes to hacking in this co-op game, People Can Fly have come up with a very unique way to handle cheaters. Now it has been said that since the demo has been released, 2 million people have downloaded the game, and People Can Fly only identified 200 players who actually cheated. That's only about 0.1% of players cheating. But People Can Fly are not actually going to ban these players, but they will be punished, and the punishments are account-wide, not only character-specific. These cheaters and hackers will also not be able to matchmake with legit players, meaning your matchmaking will take a lot longer, but you'll still be able to play solo, and it's also going to be instituted to have a visible watermark placed on your HUD, so even if you create gameplay footage, everyone will be able to see that it's coming from a flagged account. So on launch day, all accounts will be checked to see if there has been cheating, and regular checks will be carried out periodically after that. And People Can Fly did make it very clear on what cheating is. If you play the game without the easy anti-cheat running, modify the game files, externally modify the game time, and use a trainer to gain advantage, or use aimbots or wall hacks. Outriders will also be coming to Xbox Game Pass on April 1st. But that's only for the console and Android. PC players are going to be left out in the cold, which is actually really sad. We PC players will have to snag our copies on Steam or the Epic Game Store. Oh, and speaking of PC, here are the system specs so you know what you need to have to get the most out of the game. For the minimum, Intel 5 3470 or an AMD FX 8350, 8GB of memory, an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 750 Ti or AMD Radeon R9 270X. And these specs are shooting for 720p at 60 FPS. Now for the recommended, an Intel i7 7700 or an AMD Ryzen 5 1600, 16GB of memory, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1066GB or an AMD Radeon RX 480 8GB. And if you go to play the demo, you need 24GB of space to download. But for full release, you'll need 70GB of storage. Oh, and the recommended is shooting for 1080p 60 FPS. And now when the game launches on April 1st, additional launch support will be added. Things like full crossplay support on all platforms, but not on different platforms, only within the same ecosystem. Ultra-wide screen support and adjustable field of views. The game will also have dynamic resolution scaling and support NVIDIA's DLSS. So there you have it. That's what you actually need to know to play the game. Now, I didn't really want to spoil any part of the game, just give you the basic information of what you need to know. So what do you guys think? Are you guys going to be playing Outriders? Or does the game even interest you? Tell me in the comments below. I read all of them. But don't forget to like and subscribe for future Axial GT content. I do really appreciate you watching. And until next time, my friends, you all have a good one.